This episode of My Best 11 Pod is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped sent us a load of stuff to try out and test. The Lawnmower 3.0 is their biggest selling product, as well as loads of other bits and pieces that they sent across to us. Some lovely toner. And I'll tell you what, everything smells beautiful. Everything smells beautiful. But we want to talk briefly about their biggest product, the Lawnmower 3.0. Mark,
and you know what?
have you had a go at this yet?
Andrew, as you can see and hear, right, it's so smooth. And believe it or not, I have said this before to our listeners, I use mine to do my hair and my face. It really is a game changer in that respect, because I used to use a certain brand, which I will not mention before, but now I'm using this, the Manscaped one, and it's actually doing the job as good, if not better, than the one I was using before.
Yeah, and there's a few settings. I didn't realise you can change the lengths as well. So if you're doing your hair, as you say, or you want to keep a bit of stubble here, if the ladies like the stubble, then it's awesome. You've got the couple, 2 or 3 lengths as well, which is fantastic on it.
And you can use it like in the shower. It's waterproof. You can use it in the shower.
Oh, I didn't realise that. Is it?
Yeah, it's waterproof. You can use it in the shower, and it's got the little torch, as you see when you put the light on. You see a little torch comes on. But yeah, that's a big game changer, I feel, when you can use it like in the shower. So
it is. But the funniest bit I love is they sent us this with a pack. Have you seen this?
Yes.
They sent us their magazine, their little newspaper, manscape.com newspaper, which got some hilarious articles. You actually it's actually quite a giggle. And that's for, I think, if you don't use it in the shower, you just stick it down on the bathroom floor to stop it going on the carpet or tiles, and then you lay it out, and then you can have a read of the paper while you go in, and then you just dust it up and chuck it in a bin, wherever you've just trimmed up above or down below. I think it's awesome. It's a really novel, it's a real great novelty thing, but it's really quite funny and quite clever, I think.
Oh, 100%. Like I said, so Manscaped, and you guys can get 20% off by using the code of My Best 11 Pod. Yep, 20% off. Is that right, Andrew? 20% off?
Yeah, 20% off and free delivery.
Free delivery. Okay, I forgot about that. Free delivery.
20% off and free delivery anywhere in the world. So brilliant. 20% off wherever you're listening from. I'm pretty sure it's anywhere in the world, actually. I wouldn't quote that for definite. So if you're trying to buy this from Madagascar, not quite sure. But
and listen, if it's not free delivery, that's to Andrew. You go back to, not me, Marvin. Right? Go to Andrew if it's not free delivery, and make your complaints to Andrew, not me.
So jump on www.manscape.com. As Marv said, 20% off, free delivery, and they are also sponsoring us. So we are grateful for them sponsoring us. Our first full big sponsor. We're sponsored by lots of local companies. Our first big international sponsor, which is great. So jump on board and support Manscaped, because they support you, and also they give some money to charity as well, to testicular cancer. So jump on board, and as the box says when you open your presentation box,
your balls will thank you.
Welcome to another episode of My Best 11 podcast. This week we are joined by Mark Pembridge. Mark Pembridge started his career at Luton, then went on to Derby, Sheffield Wednesday, had a little bit of time in Portugal, in Benfica, topping the tan up. Then Everton, Fulham, and we'll hear a little bit more about what he's currently doing at the moment a little bit later on. He also played over 50 times for Wales, which I'm sure for a proud Welshman born in Wales, is very, 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 very humbling for him as well, and also very, very exciting. So we'll unpack all that in a little bit. Mark, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks, Andrew.
Fabulous. Marv, how are you?
Andrew, this is one of the quietest people I ever played with in the game. Honestly, it is. So this is going to be really interesting.
Well, I'm glad I pressed record because it was just flowing. So that's a load of rubbish because the abuse and the banter was just going. I had to quickly press record. If not, we're going to miss half of this.
Yeah. I'm still like that now, Marv. I'm still quiet now.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Excellent. So what we're going to do is those people who haven't listened to the podcast before is we go through Mark's best 11 players he's ever set foot on a pitch with. The idea being that he picks players from all those clubs and can also pick from Wales as well. And as we go through, Mark will give us a couple of clues as we go through each of the team. And if you're listening at home or in the car or on the train, you can try and guess who he's picked. So we'll start off, Mark, by your formation. What's your formation, and what inspired you? Was it David Pleat growing up, or who was it who inspired you to bring this formation?
I've gone for a 4-3-3 to make sure like all the good players I've got, all the good players I played with in the team. You know, I think I learned a lot from that from early days when Terry Orth was managing Wales, and you had like Ian Rush, Dean Saunders, and Mark Hughes all firing goals in for their clubs, like, you know. But obviously, you know, you couldn't play the three of them up front, so I think Mark Hughes ended up playing in midfield, you know, which is unusual at the time because Mark was an out-and-out centre forward, you know. So, you know, just to make sure that he got his best players on the pitch.
Yeah, no, definitely. So hopefully there's no square pegs in round holes. We'll find out. So we'll start off with the goalkeeper. Mark, so who have you gone for in goal? Like I said, just give us a couple of clues and see if Marv can guess.
I was obviously it's the first position on the field, the goalkeeper, and I've looked back on it and I played with actually quite a good few goalkeepers, like, you know. Obviously being at Fulham with like Edwin van der Sar, and then playing in Portugal with Michel Prudhomme at the time, who was Belgium's, you know, and got best goalkeeper in the World Cup at the time, you know. But then at Sheffield Wednesday as well, I played with Chris Woods, who was in goals, who was England goalkeeper at the time as well. But I've gone for a goalkeeper that I played with in the national team, which on his day he was unbelievable. You know, even in training, like sometimes he'd mess around and not use his hands, like, so he'd be diving and he'd be heading away, or he'd be diving and he'd be chesting it away, like, and the boys still couldn't score, like, you know. And I remember one of the boys, like, every time one of the boys used to shoot, and then when Nev used to save it, he used to get up and he used to boot it as far as he can, and he used to say, "Go and get that," he said, "because you're not good enough to shoot against me."
I was gonna guess it was him, but you've already just told us his name.
I reckon he's one of the most picked players so far. He really is. Yeah, definitely.
He was sharp. He was very sharp on and off the pitch, like, you know. He was. It was funny because when I played with Wales one game, he ended up getting the bus driver to do the warm up with him and collect the balls. Also on the first day, he ended up collecting the balls for the goalkeeper and throwing them back, like. And then because his feet were caked in mud, like, you know, his shoes were caked in mud, like. So the next day, Nev's bought him some boots and some kit, like, you know. And by the end of the week, Nev's got him in goals, like, no, they like do handling, they do 4 or 5, and then they swap over, and the next one goes. He was in doing the handling as well by the end of the week, and he was fully caked. He was fully caked in mud as well by the end of the week. And all the boys are on the bus waiting for the bus driver to drive us back to the hotel, like. And he's getting changed out of it, all his muddy gear, to put his gear back on. Is hilarious, like, you know.
I had already guessed it was going to be Neville Southall.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, how old is he then? Because I mean, he was pretty like at his like more than his prime when you was playing with him then, Pem. Surely.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was right at it there, Marv. I just joined the squad then, like, you know, on the back end. And
so, did you get an early call up to Wales then? Were you?
I didn't know. No, I played in the B team probably when I was about 21, and then from then I went on the next squad. I went into the full squad, like, you know. I'm lucky enough. Not lucky enough. I made my debut against Brazil for the national team, which is crazy. And I bet Marv, you couldn't guess what position I played.
I bet I can.
Go on then.
And you was at Luton, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna. You know what? I'm just gonna throw it out there. Even though you was a great midfielder running on from midfield and scoring goals, I'm gonna throw in a left back.
No, sorry, Marv, you're wrong.
Okay, all right. What
Sorry,
position did you
Marv.
play then? Go on then. What was it?
I played right wing back.
Oh, right wing back.
Who are you up against then?
Right wing back.
Roberto Carlos or somebody like that? Who are you up against?
No, he wasn't playing. I got Correca played up front, and I got his shirt after the game. So we ended up beating them 1-0 in Cardiff as well, so which was good. And I put the cross in for the goal. Went down the wing. Marv come back inside, put a cross in my left foot. Gary Speed at the back post, heading down to Dean Saunders. 1-0.
I was just about to say that it wasn't with your right foot you put that ball in. No way in a million years.
But Nev was life and soul. Like, you know, he'd keep you on your toes on and off the pitch, like, you know, fully professional, really professional on the pitch. Went about his work, worked really hard in training, games, and you know everything meant. You know, he was serious for everything when he got on that pitch, like, you know.
Good choice. Very good choice.
Definitely. Let's move on then to right back. And I'm assuming you haven't picked yourself there.
No. right back. I've been looking, and I've not been blessed playing with like good fullbacks, you know, or really top end fullbacks, you know. I played the boy I played with Wales with for a while, Mark Delaney. I thought, who finished early due to injury and things like that. I thought he would have gone a long way because I think he had all the attributes. He was quick, you know, he was good in the tackle and he could run up and down all day, like, you know. But I don't think you're going to guess, Andrew or you, Marv.
Yeah, but what club? Give us a chance. What club was it? He was at.
Yeah, I played them at Sheffield. I played them at Sheffield Wednesday. I did.
Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, I played them at Sheffield Wednesday, and then he did have a little spell at. I give you a really good clue. He played for Chelsea then, as well.
Oh, got it.
Romania.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yep. What's his name?
Dan Petrescu.
Yeah. He was good. He probably was at that time where, you know, these modern fullbacks now, they like to get forward and like to get forward more before they defend, like, you know. He was one of them, like, he always liked to go forward. He had a good engine. He always seemed to get in behind and pop up and be in the box, either crossing for assists or like even having shots on goal, like, you know.
Yeah.
But he wasn't at Sheffield long when I was playing there. Only probably half a season, I think it was, like, but technically he was excellent, like, you know.
I was about to say that, Pem. Just looking at him back then, I mean, it's one of those ones where you say he was a little bit ahead of his time because technically, I remember he was comfortable as on the ball.
Yeah,
he didn't panic, didn't rush, didn't get flustered, and like you said, popped up with the odd goal every now and then.
Yeah, but engine-wise, Marvin, get up and down like all day long, like, you know, which is great in the fullback, especially the modern day now as well, like, you know. Yeah. And I think he was part of that Romanian team that finished third and in the World Cup, didn't they, in 94-ish, I think he was.
Yeah. Part of the Blonde brothers, didn't they all dye their hair white?
Yeah, they all shaved it first, didn't they?
I didn't know they shaved it first.
Dyed it blonde, didn't they?
I knew they tied it, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
So Dan Petrescu, was he, obviously he's one of the kind of first foreign imports, I'd say. What was he like in the dressing room? Because he always came across as very quiet, almost.
Yeah, he was very quiet. Yeah, he was very quiet. He didn't really say what. Went about, again, another one that like worked hard in training. You know, went about. He was like, his English wasn't great at the time, like, you know. So, you know, his sense. He seemed to have a dry sense of humor as well, you know. But obviously, he didn't really come through that much when, obviously, because of the language barrier, like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that was an interesting time at Sheffield Wednesday, of course, when you were starting to come back and start to battle for things, and then it was a bit of a yo-yo in the Premier League for you guys. It'll be interesting if you pick any more Sheffield Wednesday players.
Interesting.
We'll move on to left back. Left back. Here we go.
Right, I put this left back in. not a natural left back, but played again in Wales with me, but he did play at left back for Wales. But obviously he wasn't a left back, but obviously for Wales he was playing there regularly, like, you know. And I think he's one of them you got to have in your team, just because he was he's such a team player on and off the pitch, you know. And well, I'll wait until you guess him first, Marv, because you should know who he is.
I mean, he wasn't a left back.
No, he wasn't a left back.
He played. Oh, well, I was going to say, I don't think you played with him. Again, because I think you're too young. Bowen?
No, Bo played at left back. Yeah, Marker did play in the left back at the time. Yeah, he was a good left back. Obviously played for Norwich. That's when Norwich qualified for was it the Champions League or UEFA Cup that time? Like they had a good team and was up there for a while.
Not him then. No, not him.
Not him. No. I think somebody. Probably
what
one
club?
of them.
What club did you play for?
I played for Wales with him, but I didn't play at Everton with him, but he was at Everton. But probably one of the most appearances in the Premier League, Marvin. Come on, Marv.
Come on, Marvin.
No,
Wales captain, Marv. Captain of Wales.
Giggs.
Manager of Wales.
Giggs.
No,
he's not for Everton.
Fullback.
He played for Everton.
Oh, my mind's gone. My mind's gone now. It is.
Okay, Leeds, Newcastle, Everton.
Speed.
Yes, Gary Speed.
God bless him. Yes.
yeah. Gary was Welsh captain, and like it just suited him down to the ground. He was probably one of the best captains you could have. Always wanted him in the trenches with you. Always gave 100% in training. Hence why he played so many games in the Premier League, Marv. You know, room with him with Wales for a number of times as well in the towards the latter end stages of it, like, you know, and fantastic. You had any problems, he'd be like, oh, go and speak to Gary, go and speak, and that's what a captain was like. You know what I mean? Captain was like, go and speak to the manager, the gaffer, the boys want this, the boys want that, or the boys think this, the boys think that. What do you think? And you know, he was brilliant like that, like, you know.
And he was very versatile. Like, I mean, because again, I didn't even get him playing at left back. I mean, now that you think about it, obviously he did. I mean, I remember him as a midfielder, a left midfielder, or a centre midfielder, or even like a 10 sometimes, but never as a left back.
And I think you know, especially when you got like, you know, you got the team we had as well, Marv. You know, it's, again, like I said, it's making sure everybody fits in that team, like, you know.
Right. Yeah, of course.
You know, size wise as well. He was good in the air as well. He was good at set plays, defending set plays, attacking set plays. You know, we had a good leap on him, and he always scored always chipped in with a couple of goals in his head as well, didn't he?
Very good in the air. Very good in the air.
Yeah. I mean,
definitely one you want on your team.
Oh. Definitely. Did you have much to do with him when he became the manager? Did you keep in touch with him?
I didn't really touch base with him when he was manager. Obviously, he'd been at Sheffield United, and Marv knows what I'm like. Marv, I'm very quiet, and like, you know, I don't keep in touch with many of the boys unless somebody rings me, like, you know me, Marv, you know. How are you laughing at?
Yeah, it is true. And I was just again, because you've mentioned two players from the Welsh, I want to just touch on that. I mean, because that's the connection I was saying to Andrew at the start. It was Luton was just for some reason was blessed with picking up these Welsh players. John Hartson, yourself, Terry Hughes, Paul Lewis, Jason Rees, Matthew Bowden, was it as well? I mean,
yeah. Kurt Nogan.
Kurt Nogan, Nugsy, yeah. Was there one scout who got all you guys?
Yeah, there was one scout. Yeah, he was actually living in Merthyr Tydfil as well, where I am. A fella called Cyril Beach, who used to play.
He's the one. Sorry, Pam. He's the one scout that got all you players. What I've just mentioned.
Yeah.
What an eye.
Yeah.
I think you going back. obviously, I think he used to play for Hereford. Like, you know, he was always out watching games. He'd be always ever, and like he was like, I think he was about 70 odd, 71, 72, and he was still out running 5 or 6 miles every day. Like, you know,
Really?
it was unbelievable. Yeah. But yeah, he'd be at the games, all the games. He'd know all the players, like, you know, and but he used to we used to love going up there, Marv, every school holiday. Like, I mean.
And it's funny when you spoke about it, because Johnny spoke about exactly the same thing. Get on the train, come down, and then you look to turn up, and it'd be like, like Christmas. Go on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but obviously John used to get on the train in Swansea, and my old man used to drive me down to Cardiff, like, and get the Monday morning train about 10 to 5, just so as we could train Monday morning, like, you know. And then I'd be down there, and then obviously Cyril Beach would be down there as well, like, and he'd be going, right. When you get on the train now, make sure you look after little John, he said, because it's his first trip. And John gets on the train, and I'm bigger than John Hartson. At the time, I think he must have only been about 11-ish, Marvin, I think. 11 or 12. Unbelievable.
It was very young.
Yeah, about 12 or 13, something like that. But it was funny.
But again, at the time, where were the Cardiff, the Swansea? I mean, because for you guys to come all that way, I mean, what leagues were they in? Because I'm thinking, surely on your doorstep, I would be absolutely fuming if I've lost Hartson, Pembridge, Reese, Nogan, Hughes, all that.
Yeah. And it's funny enough, Marv. I tell you what, another one. Remember the goalkeeper, Mark Walton?
Yes, well, yes. I still speak to him. Yeah, Mark Walton, another one. He went to Norwich, us.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, his old man, Ronnie, he used to train us as like our club team, Georgetown Boys Club, and in the end, then he went to Swansea, and he was Swansea under-18s manager. Really? So he must have had a connection in there somewhere, like, you know.
Yeah.
Because I think you ended up. I think Steve Jenkins and Jason Bowen went down to Swansea because they were from Merthyr as well. Because he used to teach him in his Georgetown Boys Club, like, you know.
Okay.
But growing up, there was no reason for you to go to Cardiff or Swansea. There was no kind of instant connection with the area.
No, there wasn't. No, and then obviously, like I said, I think I first went up, Marv, when I was about 13. Right. And then played the game, and then as soon as I signed 14, they asked me to sign schoolboy forms, and I said, yeah, no problem, like, you know.
And I was saying to Andrew as well, I mean, I don't know if you recall, even though as a club, like, we're not seen as a massive club, but Luton, we were in the first division, so I don't know what leagues Cardiff and Swansea might have been down in the old fourth division for that. So it made sense probably that you guys would come to us, I mean, because we were in the what you call the English Premier League now.
Yeah. It used to be great, Mark. He used to come up, spend a week up there, and you'd always look to see if the first team are playing home on Saturday when you're going up half term and things like that, like, just so as you could stay behind the extra day and watch your first team play, like, you know. I mean, it'd be brilliant, like, you know.
Okay, centre backs.
Again, gone for this centre back. England international centre back, Marv. Very quick. Used to sing a song about him as well at one club, and you'll never beat him.
Oh,
played with him at Sheffield Wednesday.
He's been on already, Andrew. I think he was on Oaks' team and Mick's team as well.
Yeah, he was. Yes.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Desi Walker. Yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable. Like, knew what he was good at, knew what he wasn't so good at. Good at winning the ball, and then it was like, there you go, give it to somebody else who could play, like, you know. Whether it was like, give it to John Sheridan or give it to Jim Magilton or something like that, like, you know. Yeah, you're the ball players. I've done my job. Now it's on to you. And like, he was rapid. He was rapid, like, you know.
Because you must have played him at the back end of his career.
Yeah, he was still, he was about 33, I think, 33, 34 at the time, I think, at Sheffield Wednesday, but still blessed with pace, like, you know.
And I think that's what a lot of people do recall, him having that pace, but like he couldn't just have pace and be an international. He was a good out and out defender. If you watched him, closely, he was a very, very good defender, Pem. And I think, yes, it helps with pace, but he was a very, very good defender.
There's only one. I always remember, Marv. There's only one person that beat him.
I know you're going to say. I know you're going to say.
Yeah. He played for the others. Lars Elstrup beat him over the top, didn't he?
Yeah,
got in and scored.
That's what I've said. I've mentioned that before. I'm thinking, whoa, rapid. We're thinking everyone must have thought in the crowd. Oh yeah, what are you doing? No one beats Des Walker. And literally, he started going away from it, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Went down the channel and scored in his left foot, didn't
he? Great goal.
But yeah, Des would come in, Marv, on a Friday morning, and he'd have a cup of coffee, and he'd go, it was David Pleat at the time, and he'd come in and he'd go, Des, you training today? And Des would go to him, Gaffer, do you want me to play well tomorrow? And he'd go, yeah, of course I do, Des, yeah. Well, he goes, I'll just have his coffee. He said, grab another one and come out and watch.
Is that what he said, really?
Yeah. And then they'd have to get somebody else in. If you're doing a bit of shape and all that against the youth team, they'd have to like put somebody else in instead of him. He'd stand on the side and watch it. He was training on Fridays.
But see, for me now, that's fantastic management by David Pleat. Fantastic. You know what I mean?
But he couldn't.
It's a Friday,
couldn't disagree with it, Marv.
It's a Friday. I mean, realistically, what did we do on a Friday? There wasn't a lot. So a case of like causing an argument. No, you're going to get changed and you're going to be out with us, Des, and all that. No, it was just okay.
But like I said, Marv, you couldn't argue with him because come a game on a Saturday, nobody could beat him.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, what did Des Walker bring across? Because didn't Des Walker play for Sampdoria? Didn't he play abroad for a while?
Yeah, he did.
Am I imagining that?
Years.
Did he bring any of that kind of continental way? I know they were way ahead of the Premier League in terms of what they ate, what they did with their body, etc. Or is that a prime example? What you just said of
I think Des was straight down the line. Like, you know what I mean, Des would be straight down the line. This other right or it's wrong, and he always give me one bit of advice. He said, if there's two people running in the box, okay, don't run in between the two of them. Just pick one of them up. That's all you can do. You can only pick one person up, like that.
Yep.
But he was. Des was unbelievable. Obviously, you'd love to have seen him in his prime as well, like, you know. But obviously, he was still rapid, and he wasn't the best ball player. You know, passing it out, but he'd win the ball and he'd pass it, and he'd pass it simple. He knew what he could do. Or if he didn't, he'd put it in the channel. But he just done the simple things really well for me.
Yeah, but that wasn't what the role of a defender was back then.
Yeah,
it wasn't to pass and play the ball. It wasn't
defenders were defenders, like, you know.
Yeah. Talking of which, who's your next one next to Des?
Next one was again another Welshman, Marv.
International.
Yeah. Played club football with him as well. But I bet you can't guess the club I played at with him.
I will say it is probably going to be Derby.
Yeah. I bet you can't guess who it is.
I mean, I'm going to say that this one name, I'm just going to say it. Kit Simons.
No.
Oh, he was at Derby, wasn't he, as a player, wasn't he? Kit?
No, he wasn't. No, Kit wasn't. No. A bit older than that, Mark. When I first started out, he'd won league championships. Captain of his club, captain of the country as well.
Mark. And
old school, Mark. Old school. Played against Luton Town in them semi-finals. Down at was it semi-final?
What, in the Everton games and the?
Yeah.
Radcliffe.
Yes, Marv. Yeah, you got him. Kevin Radcliffe.
Good work,
at the time, top of his game, he was great defender, but didn't know. Played at Derby County with him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't.
See?
I mean,
your knowledge is poor, Marv. I tell you.
Yeah, but I picked the club right.
The Run a Football podcast, Marvin.
I know how he works. Even though I haven't spoken to him for all these years, right? He goes, "You'll never get the club," and I'm thinking it's not going to be Benfica or Everton. I'm thinking it's going to be see, reverse psychology with Pem. I got the club.
Yeah, but you're saying Kurt Simons, Marvin, never played for like Derby County.
You're right. You're right. I mean, I am human. I say it proves I'm human. I do get things wrong sometimes.
Yeah, but I think Kev was one of them. He was coming as I was starting to come into the Welsh squad. He was like obviously finishing, but experience wise, he was really good. Like you could see he's been around for years and years and years. Like and was a really good defender. Like
And you think that Des Walker and Ratcliffe will work well together? Do you? Are they?
I'm not too sure because they both two left footers, isn't they? But I had to get them in the team, like
Is there a left footers club, by the way, that you have to stick together?
Yeah, it could be.
Because you're so rare to find. Because you're so rare.
There's a couple of right footers coming into it. Yeah, I'd say half my team's left footers. Yeah, a lot of them are left footers.
I didn't even know Des Walker was naturally left footed.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, always played in the left side, left centre back, didn't he?
What are you naturally, Marv?
I'm both.
You're blessed with both, Marvin, yeah?
Yeah, I'm both. I mean, again, it's a straight. I don't know if you're the same, Pem, but I really was comfortable. I'd rather pass the ball with my right. If I'm playing little like 10 yards, 15-yard pass and I want to punch it into someone, I'd rather pass with my right foot. Now, if I'm going to go down the line or reverse a little drill ball in, I'll use my left foot. It's weird. I don't know if you're like that, similar to that.
Oh, no. I just love my left. I just use my left foot all the time, whether it was short or long or whether it was zinged in or anything.
Your right foot's there just to stand on.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's why, Pem, I say players like yourself and there's Pre-C, like they're even top players more than me because at least I can use both. You didn't even get yourself into a position where you didn't like have to use your right. You manipulated the ball cleverly enough that you could always use your left. So in my opinion, you're always a better player. Like I had 2 feet, you had 1 foot.
Yeah, usually if I had to, like if I had to do a tackle or something like that, I was tackling like more than anything else, maybe like
But the left foot was a wand. We'll come up to it later on because that the Villa game, that Villa goal stands out for me. That's it. But anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, we'll move on. What we'll do is we'll pause there after finishing defence, and we'll hear a short ad break from our sponsors. And then when we're back, we'll hear the rest of Mark Pembridge's My Best 11.
Support for My Best 11 pod is brought to you by Manscape, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming and hygiene. Manscaped is taking the world and is now available in all of Europe, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Manscaped is trusted by 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement for all your below-the-waist grooming needs. So you can get 20% off and a free shipping with the code MyBest11Pod at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use the code of MyBest11Pod. Your balls will thank you for it.
Okay, we're back for part 2 of Mark Pembridge's My Best 11. So far, we have Southall, Petrescu, Walker, Radcliffe, and Speed. So we're moving on to midfield, where Mark went for 4-3-3. So start where you wish to, Mark, wherever you like.
I'm putting myself in this as well, aren't I? Yeah.
You can do. You'll be the first person.
Oh, okay. Oof. All right. No, I won't put myself in there, Mark. I know. I thought we had to put ourselves in there as well, like So
Pem,
well, that's fine. I'll have to think.
If you
no,
want
thanks,
to, you
Marv,
can
I won't do. No.
Start with somewhere else if you want, and then you can come back to the one. If you still want to put yourself in, that's great.
Okay.
Look, we had Daishi on, and he would have. He said, "Marv, you know, I know he would have put himself in the team, but he didn't. He would like to have done, but he didn't. But you put yourself in.
No, I can't put myself in the same team as some of these, Marv. You know what I mean?
But start somewhere else then.
Okay, my 4-3-3. I got a left midfield player, Marv, who again, Didn't start his career in midfield, but finished his career in the centre midfield. Yeah. Again, another one from the national team. Marv won numerous amounts of like league titles. Yeah, it's got to be an easy one, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes.
Ryan Giggs.
Yeah. Ryan Giggs. Yeah. Again, a player, Marv, that was really quiet in training, in the training dressing rooms, really quiet. But when he spoke, Marv, everybody sort of like stood to attention, like, because he never often spoke, like, you know what I mean? And like, I remember where was he playing? He was playing in Italy one game, and he's come in, and like, it's the first time I think I heard him really swear. Like, he come in, he went, "Say, boys," he said, "get the ball," he said, "and put it in the channel." He said, "You got a centre back in up there," he said, "who's like 30 odd." He said, "Can't run." He said, "Just put it in the channel," he said, "and I'll run after it." It was Maldini, who was coming to the end of his career, you know. But he was one of them. He was one of them gigs. He was like very quiet, you know, didn't really exert himself in training, but when it come to matches, like, you just give him the ball. He was one of them. You win the ball, bump, you give it to him. And we always said to him, like, you know, don't go mad chasing the ball around, you know, obviously tuck in, drop back into positions, like, you know, because when we win the ball back, we want you to be fresh. Or when you give him the ball, he could go and do his bit, like, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in the squad. One of my first early games, I was in the squad with him as well. You know, we sort of like came through the squad round about the same time. I think I got in the squad 2 or 3 games before him, and then obviously then when he come into it, then, like, you know, he was a force to be reckoned with, like, you know.
He came into the squad after you.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I think I'm a couple of years older than him, Marvin, about 2 or 3 years older than him. So
But
he was only.
Sorry, go on. I was going to say, but again, being at the club what he was still quiet. It didn't. I mean, I don't think anyone would anyway. Like, coming in at international level and give it the big one, but still, he's coming from Man United and he's joining the squad, and he's very humble. Would you say?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. I remember Marby. I used to room with him in the early days because we were both young, and I know we used to put it together in the same room. And he turned up one game and he said to me, he said, "I got a new car." He said, "I got a Jeep." He said, "I brought it down." He said, "When he driven it a couple of times." I said, "How long you had it?" He said, "Oh, I've had it about like 5 or 6 months." I said, "Well, what do you mean if when you driven it a couple of times?" He said, "I can't drive it to training." He said, "because if the manager found out," he said, "I had a Jeep," he said, "he'd probably think it'd be big time and told me to get rid of it."
So what did he drive then into training then?
I don't know. I don't know, Marv, but obviously by then, Marv, he was probably getting in the first team. He probably had 2 cars, like, you know what I mean?
But again, he's in this full squad, and he's still not. I wouldn't say scared, but like he still had that respect for Ferguson, not to drive a Jeep into training.
I think they all did, like, you know. But
interesting.
Again, when we was coming through the back end of it in the Welsh squad, you had like Mark Hughes in there, Neville Southall, Kevin Ratcliffe, you know, and then you had like Eric Young, Mark Bowen, David, all proper seasoned pros, like, you know. You know, when I first got on the squad, Peter Nicholas was still in it as well.
Nick, really?
Yeah. Nico was still in the squad when I first got in it, yeah.
And what's it like? I mean, just take us through what, particularly, I mean, most people guess what happens during the day, but I mean, you guys are held up there for a week, spending all the time in hotels away. Is it pretty much as soon as the lights go off, you guys are kind of in your rooms, just playing computer games, playing cards, that type of thing, or is there much socialising?
Yeah, but there is a lot of socialising now, like especially early on, 2 or 3 days before a game, like he'd leave us go out and play golf if we had buggies and things like that, and then maybe like the last couple of days, especially when we was down in the Vale of Glamorgan, we'd go up to Ponty and go to the cinema in the afternoon, because it never used to be busy up there in the afternoons. So on a Thursday, say we played on a Saturday, or Thursday and Friday after lunch, we just go up there and go to the cinema rather than be stuck in your room, like, you know.
So is it a case of just finding entertainment for yourself almost? Does it get boring in a way? Even though you're even though it's the proudest moment of your life kind of thing.
Yeah, it can do, because obviously you're in your room, or you go down, and some of the boys say, "Oh, I'll come down for a coffee at like 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock." Otherwise, you're stuck in your bedroom and things like that. Or there's a tennis table out in the corridor. And boys used to bring like the bowling balls, the real small proper bowls, but like about that big. So you play them in the corridor, or just to pass time away more than anything else. And then, if I had an afternoon, then I'd go up and see my parents in Merthyr. I was lucky enough to be like only like 30 minutes up the road from them, so every now and then I used to go up and see my parents, because then you don't really get to see them over the season.
Yep.
My dad used to come up, and watch me play most games.
Prem, I got I think it's an interesting question. This England squad is very well, documented that there was these groups, these cliques. The Chelsea were with their groups, the Man United with their group. And the Arsenals with the Arsenals, like players stuck together. Was that like the same thing with Wales back, or not?
Was it like, never. It was never. It was never. We was always happy to meet up, and we'd all go out if we got down there Saturday night. And the game's not till the following Saturday, boys would go out and have a few beers all together. And it was probably a known thing that like the minibus would leave at like 9:30 on a Saturday if they were going out for a few beers, And
everyone would mix together.
So yeah, unbelievable, yeah. It'd be a good 12, 14 of us, or whoever could get down there. But like I always remember like Mark Bowen saying, I won't be playing away when we got to meet up with the Welsh squad, because he's not going to make it from Norwich down to Cardiff in like after the game within 2 or 3 hours, So he was hoping he was playing in Manchester or Aston Villa in Birmingham or something like that, or even in London, just to give him a chance to get down,
That shows everything, though, the fact that people are busting a gut to get there early.
We get down there, we always used to get down there, and then we train on a Sunday, or it was a cool down or whatever, and then boys would have a game of golf in the afternoon on Sunday afternoon,
Yeah, and then get to it on the Monday. Well, yeah. So let's keep going on the midfield.
Right midfield.
Yeah,
I've got a player that was probably one of the best players in British football. I played with him towards the end of his career. Would have loved to have been playing with him, or played with him when he was at the height of his career, because even when he'd lost half a yard of pace, his brain was still 3 or 4 seconds in front of everybody else.
Was he a striker?
No, he wasn't a striker. He was a midfield player, Marv.
I know, but I think he's trying to push people in. I bet
I
Andrew's
think I was
thinking
the same as you.
Dean Saunders. Was he thinking of Dean Saunders?
No,
I was thinking Mark Hughes.
I played at Everton with him.
He played for Wales?
No, I didn't play for Wales. Played for England. Played for England.
Oh.
I
want to dig this one out. Is it Barmby?
No, it's not Barnes. No, I played with Barnes. Barnes was at the height of his career at Everton and did play in the English squad and got in the.
Okay, I'm going to chuck a curveball out here because I can't remember the exact dates you're at Everton. Gazza.
Yeah.
Well done.
Paul Gascoigne.
Well done.
Wow.
Absolute legend. Absolute legend. He was like I said, when he got to Everton, he'd probably come in from Rangers. I think it was Rangers at the time, I think.
Yeah, Walter Smith must have bought him with him, didn't he?
Yeah, Walter Smith bought him in, and you could see on the training pitch he'd be flicking balls around corners, thinking, "Where are you?" Expected to be there, and you're there about 2 seconds later. He was one step ahead of everybody else. His brain was constantly working, constantly looking, and really hyper, really hyper, but could not keep still at all. Had to be on the move all the time, doing something. He'd be at the training ground, and the groundsman at the training ground would be in the gym, and when everybody gone home, the groundsman would play like head tennis, Marv. Not like the back of Kenilworth Road down the bottom. They used to have a little one set up in the corner there, right? And one of the groundsmen was called Robbie Gillespie, and he used to play like. But Gazza seen him play late one day and joined in with them. But because of the walls, Marv, you know what the walls like, and they bouncing off the walls and all that. Yeah. Gazza started joining in, but Gazza wouldn't leave until he beat him. And I think he's saying to the groundsman, look, I've got to get home, like I've got to get home to my wife. It's like 6:30. And he's still at the training ground trying to beat Gazza. Gazza's still trying to beat him. It was bonkers. And what else? We come in one day, Marv, and he'd bought a table tennis table, and he put it in the gym, and in the grass bit, in the dome bit, like in the indoor. And he's just got people playing table tennis like up to 11, like, you know. But he was unbelievable at table tennis, like.
Really?
And he was, nobody could beat him. Like he'd be there for ages. But if you lost 6-0 to him, he'd have a traffic cone, and you had to stand there and watch the next game and put the traffic cone on your head. So if anybody come in, he's beat you 6-0. And things like that, like, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So did he command? How did he command respect from you guys? Was it what he did on the pitch?
Ah, yeah, he was fully clued in of everything. Like, you know, he's brilliant on the pitch, brilliant off the pitch, brilliant on the pitch. You know, life and soul. Really, like, but you couldn't leave anything for 1 second within his sight. Like, you know what I mean? Because he'd take, like, if you had your bottle of water and you gone to the toilet, he'd have taken the top off your bottle of water, and he'd have tipped some like some aftershave in it or something like that, like, you know, and put the lid back on and things like that. But he's just like, you had to be alive. But there was always one thing: if you took his phone off him and his phone, he'd go bonkers, like, you know, because that's the only thing that kept him like in with, you know, his phone was his everything, like it was his life, like, you know. And it was you take a phone off him, he'd go bonkers, like, you know, and he'd go, no, not messing around, give me my phone. But I remember once as well, Marv, the kit man was going down to Goodison, and I'm not sure what happened, I think, right? And you know these old kettles where the whistle blows, you know, when you take it off, right? He's got one of them. He's gone upstairs in the kitchen. He's taken the whistle off the kettle, and he's gone and jammed it up the kit man's exhaust pipe outside. Right, so he's gone down to Goodison, and like the quicker he's going, like the louder pitch the whistle is, like it's going. And he said, like, and when the kit man come back, he said, "Are you this noise?" He said, "Whistling noise." And when I got the traffic lights, obviously the whistling had stopped. Then he said, I started revving my car, he said, and it was going. But when he come back, Gazza told him what he'd done, and he couldn't get it out, so he had to get somebody to come in and replace all his exhaust pipe for him on his car.
Yeah.
But that's what he was like. He was crazy, like, he was brilliant, but absolute fantastic to have in the dressing room. Fantastic to have in the dressing room.
Oh, he would be. We could talk all day about Gazza. Let's
put yourself back in or not?
Yeah, let's keep going.
This last midfielder now, is it you or not?
No, it's not Marv. No, it's not Marv. It's not. Played with. Let's have a look. Because I got to change it now, Marv, and because I did that myself, and so I got to think of one now.
You don't
back yourself, Marv. Back yourself.
No, I can't. No, Marv.
Pem. Let's just get it like. If I was picking my 11, I've already said it. I would be in defence, in midfield, and up front. I'll be playing in all three positions. I would. I'm telling you now.
No, I tell you what, Marv. I'd put one in there. I put one in there who so we played with. There's a couple of midfield players as it happens, but I'll go for this one because he probably didn't. When I was at Everton with him, he was a good player. Got transferred to Real Madrid.
Yep.
Got him.
Yep.
International player, really good, really strong player. Technically quite good, good engine up and down, but
Gravison?
Danish,
Yeah.
Gravison.
Tommy Gravison, yeah. A big, strong, really robust, like, you know, and difficult to shake off the ball, like, you know, scored the odd goal or two as well. But I think he went to Real Madrid. I'm not sure what he's doing. Somebody tells me now he's a professional gambler.
That's correct. Yeah, he's a professional gambler.
He's in Vegas, isn't he?
Yeah, and
Wow.
but someone also said that he got involved with some company and he sold it for millions or something.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
And he's like made a lot of money from it, but also I can't remember what other podcast it was I was listening to, but this person was talking about him saying that he just literally did what he wanted. He's like, he was playing in midfield with Thomas. He said next thing he'll see him on the left wing. He'll be on the left wing, and he'll be just doing whatever he wants and not being in the middle where he should be. He'll be on the left wing. He goes, no, I'll stay here. You find me here and all that stuff. He was saying literally did what he wanted.
He was a little bit like that. But again, nice enough character. Like, I remember him coming from Denmark and he brought all these fireworks over and set them off at the training ground in Everton, and all the houses around Belfield on the training ground, all the alarms are going off, like, you know. They said these fireworks, make sure you stand 25 meters away from these fireworks and all that, like, you know. He set them off obviously on bonfire night, like, you know.
And you just mentioned in there that he went to Real Madrid, and that just leads me into my next question for you about you played abroad. Big club as well, Benfica.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was like a little bit short-lived there, but I mean the experience. I mean, if I had the opportunity, I would have loved to have gone and played abroad. But what was it? What was it like being able to try and make a career over there?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time over there. I'm glad I went over there, Marv. You know, I only spent a year there, obviously due to manager being sacked at the time and a new manager coming in. And obviously football politics, and he doesn't want the British players because he wanted to release, you know, sell us back to England, get some money to get some more players in, you know. But obviously a different outlook on Portuguese football to obviously British football at the time. At the time, everything's hustle and bustle in the Premier League at the time, like, you know, and everybody's that. But Portuguese football was a little bit different, like. The defending third and attacking third and the middle third, was like more of a build up and sort of let you go. But as soon as you got in that final third, it was a little bit sharper, like, you know, a little bit sharper and quicker. And, you know, the opposition teams you'd always get, you know, if you keep putting pressure on them, they'd always give you a chance, like, you know what I mean? But I was injured a lot when I was over there, Marv. I think I only played 20 odd games. Right. I struggled with a calf injury over there, like, you know.
So the biggest rivals for Benfica would be who? Sporting?
It'd be Porto and Sporting. Sporting was only just up the road.
So which one was the biggest derby, like Everton, Liverpool, then compared to in Portugal?
Yeah, it'd be Porto, Benfica. Porto's in the north and Benfica's in the south, like, you know. And that was the biggest rivalry, like, you know. But,
so would you say that going over there made you? I know you already. I know every club you go to makes you a better player, but do you think it added something different to your toolkit that you'd have got if you'd have got a transfer to another Premier League team?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you know, they technically at that time, you know, because the build-up was a little bit slower, you obviously had to be technically better. You know, so them balls that you'd be fighting for in midfield, instead of it being a fight ball, you just take it, turn out and switch the play or something like that, you know. But, I enjoyed it over there, and I had a good season over there, and unfortunately it came to an end. You know, the back end of it, I was injured for a long time with my calf. That's my calf problems probably first started when I was over there, you know. But I'm delighted to go over there, you know. I think the club was financially not great at the present time. There's a president there. I think he's in jail now, Marv. I think. Yeah, I think he's in jail or was in jail for a long period of time. I think, you know. But it was funny because when we got there, we sat in the dressing room and there was about there was about 30 players in there. So he all sat in there, and the secretary come in, and he goes on the change room and he go, you. The president wants to see you. So you say to one of the boys, what's going on there? He said, they'll all go out on loan now. They'll just go out on loan, and this is a squad. It'd be like 22 players in the squad, and that was it for the season. So obviously Graeme Souness got the sack, and then we played at the end of the season, and we didn't know what was happening. There was talk of us leaving and all that. All the five, there's 5 British players there. There was me, Michael Thomas, Gary Charles, Scott Minto. Brian Dean was there for a while, and Dean Saunders were there as well. So we thought we wouldn't be there. I thought we got sold during the season, in the off season, like, you know. So but we've had to go back pre-season anyway. So first day back, we goes in the dressing room, and all them players are sat back in there again. But then again, sure enough, the secretary comes in. And that's what happens on the first day. You just go in, sit down. You. President will say, everybody else, just go home for that day. That was it for the day, first day.
It's like a really bad attempt at the playground where you're picking your team.
It was bonkers. But this second season when we went in, Marv, he went like, you, and he went like this, you. To all the British players, president wants to see you. So we goes up to see the president, and he said,
does he bring you all in one at a time, or does he do it all together?
No, he pulled us all in, all the British ones. He pulled in together, and he went, I think it's best. He said, the best you leave and all that. He said, and he started naming the clubs, like he go, no, Saunders, I have Bradford for you, and Charles, I have West Ham for you, and Pembridge, I have Everton for you. And he got to Steve Harkness. He went, Steve Harkness, I have Blackburn. And Arky went, Rangers. He went, yes, I have Blackburn Rangers for you. And the boys are like just laughing their heads off, like, you know what I mean? And he went to Michael Thomas. He said, oh, Michael, no club for you yet, he said. So maybe we come to agreement, he said, like, you know. And that was it for training for the day. So we goes in the next day, and we going to get our kit like that. And the kitman's like that with a big black bag through the little window. You're up there training with the kids. Off you go.
All of you?
The 5 of us, yeah. So we couldn't train. We trained by ourselves for about 5 weeks to start the season.
What?
That's unreal. Absolute unreal.
Yeah, but there was
How did you feel?
But we knew we were going, like, you know, and we were up there, and there was more cameras up there taking pictures of us and filming us than what it was with the actual first team that was preparing for the start of the season, like, you know what I mean?
So, Pem, he said you all knew you were going, but we couldn't, I mean, there's no way did it work out that every one of you left on the same day. Who was the last one?
No, we didn't. I think Michael Thomas was there for the season, Marv, I think. And I think he got into, I think they stopped paying him in the end. Yeah, the president stopped paying him. I think Michael, I'm not sure if Michael, obviously, I think, well, he did. Michael did take it further. I think he got the PFA involved and everything else, like, you know, but I didn't think it ended great, like, you know. And you were going when? How long did it take before you went to? I'd gone in. I left. I think the Thursday before the season started on a Saturday. So we was there a good 5 or 6 weeks. But he wanted us out of the way, like, he said, well, I'll go on holidays, he said, down at the Algarve, like, you know. And Dean Saunders is clued in, like, he said, no, he said, we need to be training. He said, you need to provide, under contract, he said, you need to provide facilities for us. You need to provide a trainer, pitch, and everything else, like, you know. So, but we just had 3 or 4 weeks off. And we said, we need to be training because the club we go into, we need to be hitting the ground running and we need to be fit. Yeah. Yep. You know, we can't have another like 4 weeks off and then go to a club and not train for like 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
That's remarkable.
Bonkers. It's bonkers. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I would have been quite happily to stay there another couple of years, no problem at all. I think was it Jaap Hinkes, was it? I think he just won the European Cup with Real Madrid and then got sacked. And I think he came to Benfica manager then, like, you know.
But it was Souness who took you, Souness.
Yeah, soon I went over there with Graeme Souness. Yeah, I was out of contract at Sheffield Wednesday, so I went over there on a free transfer, Marv. You know,
And he
I think
spoke to you.
that was only the second year of the Bosman thing that came in, like, you know.
Yeah. And how's your Portuguese?
Yeah.
No, it's not very good. It's not very good. Obviously, Catherine and we had my daughter there, Marv. Bethany. Obviously, she was one, like, you know, so it was full time looking after her more than anything else, you know.
Fabulous. So let's go on to forwards.
This is going to be interesting. These forwards, we should get these. I'm thinking, surely.
Yeah, you should be able to get them off. Come
We'll
on.
see though. There might be a little spanner in the work somewhere. Go on.
Okay, 3 forwards. Obviously, you can guess one of them played at Everton with him at a young age.
Big Dunk.
No.
He's Scottish, isn't he?
No,
No,
he said
he's
he
got
played at Everton.
played for England. Played for England as well, Marv. Had a couple of caps for England. Scored a couple of goals for England as well.
Oh, yes. I
Yes.
think I got it.
Go on then.
I'm going to throw it out there. Kevin Campbell?
No.
Hold on. Say your clues again.
Yeah. I'm getting a little bit confused with the cue.
He played for Everton. He was a youngster at Everton. Yeah. Played for England. Scored some goals for England as well.
Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
I just suddenly realised he said that very coy, the way he said scored a few goals. I thought, hang on a minute.
Yeah. Wayne was just coming through. I remember him playing in a reserve game over in Widnes. And I was just coming back from injury. And I think he was playing Sunderland. And he was like, he'd obviously just come from school and he's got his blazer on, his shirt and tie and everything from school. And he sat in the dressing room. And he was like 15 at the time, I think, like, you know. And he played up front. And the ball went over the top. And because like you've got the rugby lines on there as well as the football lines, the ball's gone over the top, and it's gone over the top so far, like all the Sunderland back four stopped running, thinking like nobody's getting on the end of that, like, you know. Sure enough, he's gone down the wing and everyone's going, whoa, like that, like, you know what I mean? He was rapid at the time, but physically, Marv, he was like a man then, like, you know, like a real robust type, strong character that was hard to knock off the ball, like, you know. But again, really, really quiet, went about his work really well. And it's all he wanted to do at a young age. You know, it's like Marvin, a young player. You just want to play football. You don't want all the politics implications that come with it and all the things. Just somebody else sort that out, sort the contract out. That's all I want to do is go out and train and play football and score goals and hit the back of the net.
So everyone was more or less, even before that game, Pem, within the club was talking about this young lad coming through.
Yeah. I think what done it, obviously played in reserves then, and I think it was that year he scored some really fantastic goals in the youth cup run, like, you know. I think he scored one against Villa, one against Tottenham, where he smashed it from 35 yards to a free kick, and he's hit the ball, he's come back to him, he's chested it and volleyed it, and you think to yourself, like, unbelievable, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What age was he in the first team? Or it really started to be around the first team very early? I know he was 16. But you said when he was 15, he was in Witness. Were they trying to integrate him early? Were they trying to integrate him early, do you think? Because he was so good?
They did integrate him early as well, like, you know. And obviously everybody knew who Wayne was and things like that. Like, I always remember we were playing Southampton away, and after about 20 minutes, we were up against it a little bit, like, you know what I mean? And I was sub, and Wayne was sub as well. I think it was one of the first or second time he'd been on the bench, like, you know what I mean? Obviously, I was 33-ish, something like that. And like, we were getting battered a little bit. The crowd are quiet, like, you know what I mean? So I said, come on, let's go warm up, like, you know what I mean? Knowing the crowd would go mad a little bit to see Wayne, like, you know what I mean? And then they might get behind the team a little bit, give the team a little bit of, you know, bit of a jolly up, like, you know what I mean, to get behind them. And he went, no. I said, come on, out you come, let's go. Come on, go warm up. Sure enough, we got out, we ran down the thing. Fans are going bonkers, isn't they? Obviously, lifts the team end, and the boys are like, boys, all right, and they're playing because the crowd are going wild because they see Wayne, like, you know what I mean, running up, warming up, like, you know what I mean? That's what it was like, though, you know?
That, or it gave the players a kick up the arse because they realised, hang on a minute, all the fans want to see this kid, not me.
Yeah. It was like that. I tell you what, it was like that, Marv, in Benfica as well. Like, in the stadium, there was one chair in the ground on the side. Nobody else sat on it. It was for one man and one man only. Yeah. Nobody else could ever sit in this chair. Yeah. And every time, if the ball went out and he got off his chair to knock it back, it was on the side of the pitch, the chair was, because it was like a moat round the pitch. And the wall of the moat, the chair was on the wall of the moat. And he'd sit there and watch the game. Like, he wouldn't be there every game. But every time the ball used to go off to him and he used to get off the chair to knock it back to start the game, he'd get the biggest cheer. He'd get the biggest cheer of the stadium. Like, I mean, everybody be up in their hands, he'd be clapping their hands. Like, I mean, it was just Abel, Bob.
Okay.
He had his own chair in the ground on the side of the pitch, and he's just sitting there. That'd be him. Unbelievable. He used to come in as well. No, on our day off as well. He used to come in. He used to come into the club. Say, like, next day you have like massages and there's a sauna in there. There was a hot tub. There was, you know, just go in and have a massage and things like that. He'd come in as well. He'd come in. He'd sit with the boys, getting the jacuzzi, getting the sauna, have a rub with the boys, and just talk to them. And it was almost like a mentor type thing, like, you know, and just talk to them out of the game and things like that, like, you know.
So, do you think was he employed by the club?
I think he was, Marv. Yeah, like an ambassador type person, like, you know what I mean. I know, because the away games he used to go to away games as well. You know, if he was playing over in Europe somewhere, he'd be on there, and he'd be, you know, because like the fan base of like Benfica was bonkers. Like, everywhere you go, there'd be thousands there, like, you know, and whether you played in Finland or Holland, it'd be packed, like, you know. And obviously some people don't get back to Portugal, they don't see him, and he always used to be there, to come out on the pitch or walk around and say hello to the fans and things like that, like, you know. Unbelievable.
That's fantastic, isn't that great? And I mean, you rub shoulders with him, and then anyone who knows the game of football, like, he's an icon in the game, especially at Benfica, and that's brilliant.
Brilliant. Legend, absolute legend, Marv. Funny, brilliant.
Wow, that would be awesome to meet him.
Yeah.
Let's keep going across the front line.
Right. Okay. Well, the next person I've got on my team, I don't think the Everton fans would be happy. Big game player. Always scored in the big games. Give him one chance, score. He'll always score a goal for you.
Saunders?
No.
Ian Rush.
Always score. Big game player. I hope he doesn't mind saying, probably one of the worst trainers I've ever seen.
Oh. And Welsh international.
Wales international. Scored loads of goals for Wales.
Yeah, Ian Rush.
Yeah.
Worst trainer ever.
One of the worst trainers, yeah.
I've heard that.
One of the worst trainers ever, Mark. But again,
has he managed himself, or is he lazy?
I don't know. I don't know. He was just one of the worst trainers. Like, but come the game day, he probably won the fittest on the pitch, running around chasing defenders down, and then he'd get one chance. All of a sudden, he's in the 6-yard, but he scores. Gets one chance, scores a goal. Always scores. Unbelievable.
But he's won everything. Well, won everywhere, played everywhere, won everything.
Yeah, rapid. Absolutely another one that's really quick as well. But prolific goal scorer, one chance, one. You know, he got in. You know, we score all the time, like, you know.
A top player, by the way. I mean, I'm just thinking about your team. Is the contrast? Like, I mean, you've got Rush and you've got Rooney, and it's like, look at. I mean, I would have thought you're miles too old, right, to have been playing with Rooney, and miles too young to be playing with Rush.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. That's something I think, Marv. I come into it, you know, in a period of time where football probably changed a lot. You know what I mean? That old school type player into the new starting of the new generation to where it is today. You know, and we was probably right in the middle of that, like, you know. So you see in the end of like people like I said, Rush, Saunders, Kev Ratcliffe, Nev, Eric Young, Peter Nicholas, you know, coming to the back end of their career like that, like, you know. And then you've got the new blood coming through, like Giggsy coming through, Rooney coming through, and things like that, you know. But
Aaron Ramsey for Wales, people like that, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's crazy, like, you know.
Right in the middle of it, you are. I mean, it's just like when I'm thinking of forwards, I'm thinking, right, Pem, like Rush wouldn't be on my radar whatsoever. Yeah. Rush.
Yeah. There you go, Marv. See, I told him, Marv, I'm older than what you think, Marv. I told him just doing 50.
I know you.
How easy was Rush to pick out? Did he help you when you got to the Wales team? Obviously, it wasn't towards the end of his Welsh career, but it was definitely pushing on. Did he help you kind of when you got to Wales a bit more, maybe, and learn other things as well?
I think there was a real tight knit group when I got there, like, you know. Obviously, you had Mark Hughes, Dean Saunders, Ian Rush. You know, Barry Owen was just coming through as well. Who was and obviously Gary Speed was in there as well, another relatively young one. And then you had your old heads like Dave Phillips, Mark Bowen. You know, so again they had a good mixture of team, and the togetherness in that was really good. And it's a shame we lost out on that last game in the qualifying to Romania at home. You know, because like I said, Romania went on and finished third in the World Cup, and 94, we were, you know, Paul Borden missed a penalty at the crossbar, and like they've gone down the other end and scored and made it 3-2. It was 2-2 at the time. We missed a penalty. They've gone down the other end and scored 3-2, and there's like 5 minutes left, and it's 5-10 minutes left, and game's done. You know what I mean? We needed a win. So, but yeah, it's a shame we didn't qualify because I thought we had a good mixture of good balance and a good mixture within it all, like, you know.
Yeah, and you guys, and that'd been one of the few tournaments, of course, for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially back then, you know, and obviously today, you know, they've done fantastic, haven't they, to qualify for the tournaments.
Well, they finished third. Was it third in Euro 2016? Was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Chris Coleman done a fantastic job with it, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, just following on from what Gary Speed started, like, you know.
Yes, very sad. So we'll keep moving across to other centre forward. Yeah. Last player in the park.
Last one, very eccentric character, Marv. Played with his heart in his sleeve. Played with him at Sheffield Wednesday.
Yep, got it.
Played for a number of clubs.
Come on, Marv.
Played in the Premier League. West Ham. Played for West Ham. I won't tell you where else he played, Mark, because you get it. It'd be too easy to get then.
Go on, Andrew.
No, go on. He likes people in our colour shirt. He maybe goes like that too.
He likes pushing the ref, Marv. He likes pushing the ref.
Who wears a black shirt?
Di Canio,
yeah. Paolo Di Canio, yeah.
Look at that front forward line.
I know.
Yeah. Again, though, you know, I'm in an area between him and Mark Hughes, Dean Saunders, probably when I was in Portugal as well, Pinto at the time, who was in the top of his game playing for Portugal.
That's João Pinto, isn't it?
João Pinto.
Yes.
Who else was there, Marv?
Where did Figo start? Did Figo start at Barca?
I'm not sure. I think he might have started. I'm not sure where he started. You want to say?
But anyway, going back to Di Canio, I mean, again, the quality which he had was scary. I mean,
yeah, it was. Yeah, we had at the time, Marv. I think we had him and Carboni up front, the two Italians, and then we had such a strong midfield, hard work in midfield with like myself on the left. We had Guy Whitnam on the right, and you had Peter Atherton who'd tackle anything, and then you'd have Jim Magilton and who could pass it, like, you know. So we had a good mixture in there, like, you know, and every time we got it, we just fed them two and them pair would go and do their bit, like, you know. But the Canio, he could do things, boom, like that. And every time he got in, another one that scored, like, you know, all the time, scored for fun. Actually, quite a funny character off the field as well.
and I'm guessing he's quite an emotional guy by the looks of things, because I mean, everyone's probably seen the footage of when, and it makes me laugh. I cry with laughter when he's like getting booted, right, and he's getting like brought down, and it's a foul, and then he's in the box. He got brought down, and the ref saying he slipped. He's turned around to Harry Redknapp and gone, "Get me off! I want to come off! I want to come off!"
I tell you, Marv, right? I tell you a story, right? We played on a Wednesday night at Watford in an FA Cup replay, and I think he got sent off or got booked for saying something to the linesman. I think it was. That was on a Wednesday, and we were playing Leeds away on a Saturday, which is a big game for Sheffield Wednesday. Leeds was a big game, like. So he comes in on Friday. We have Thursday off. Comes in Friday. We're training, I think, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So he comes in like with his suitcase, with his like smaller suitcase on wheels, as he would, typical like Italian style. Like, I mean, brings it in, and he sits down, puts his kit on, and just think kit up, his gear for the next day up, and then gets his track, gets changed, and sits down, gets the paper, turns it around the back of the paper, big headlines on the back. It says, "Paulo, I can't defend you," or something like that. I think it's like Ron Atkinson is saying he can't defend him from what his actions were on Wednesday night, like, you know. And he's looked at the paper like that, and he's gone, "He don't back me? Well, that's okay. I don't back him." He put the paper down, Marv, right? He took his training kit off. He didn't say a word to anybody. He just put his gear back on, pulled his suitcase with him, and on the way out, he waved back like that. He went, "Good luck tomorrow, boys." And gone. Went home. He went home. He did.
And what did Big Ron say then when he come in?
He didn't know we'd gotten home. He didn't know we'd gone home. So we got our trains not there. We travelled to Leeds, and Ron used to have because Ron used to live in Worcester, I think it was. He used to have a driver called Bobo. They had to send Bobo round to his house, and he said, "No, I'm not coming up." He said till he apologises. So he's got Bobo at the house now, and bringing Paulo up Saturday morning up to Leeds. So no, I'm not coming till he apologises. He needs to back me, you know. He needs to back his players, and In the end, he's in the car and he's come up to Leeds about like he's got in the dressing room at like 1:30 on a Saturday afternoon, and Bobo's drove him up from Sheffield.
Unreal.
It was bonkers. But that's the sort of character he was, Marv, you know.
But again, like I said, I don't know what game it was he was playing for, but the ball got crossed into the box and he caught it. And he stopped the game because
I was playing that game off. I was playing that game. It was against Everton. It was Paul Gerrard.
Yeah, he caught the ball.
Yeah.
Stop. Look.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I was playing that game. I was playing for Everton. Yeah. I was thinking, like, what's he doing? And to be fair, like, you know, the Everton crowd, like good set of supporters, proper old school football crowd, right. Like they all clapped him and like appreciated what he done, like, you know what I mean? Because he looked as if Paul Gerrard was in a bad way, like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's really nice of him.
Yeah.
Just I want to quickly to talk about one of your clubs where, I mean, you came into the team, Pem, and we did mention it earlier on. I mean, the Villa game where you scored that volley. Was it? Did we work on that? I can't remember. Did we work on that? Or was it something that we just did on the day? I can't remember.
No, I think
it
we
was
just
our,
done on the day, Marv. You know,
it
we
was our
just done on the
first
day,
win.
but
It was our first win away from home, wasn't it? Was it our first away win? Remember,
it
we
was,
couldn't
yeah.
win away. We couldn't win
No,
away
we
from home,
couldn't.
and that's why I remember it. So, but I mean,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't like just at Luton, but like you was really, really, in my opinion, quiet. You're so quiet. You hardly said a word, and then you got that move to Derby, and it was like I knew it was Arthur Cox who signed it, but I knew it was a case that because of your engine, you would get goals, and you probably had your best scoring spell at that club. I mean, I'm not sure what the record was. It's something like 30 odd goals in 120. There's a lot of goals, Pem, anyway, wasn't it? I mean,
yeah, I think I scored double figures for the 3 seasons I was there, Marv. And I think the last season I was out for about 4 months of the season, like with knee ligament injury, like, you know. So I was quite pleased to be in double figures for the 3 seasons, like, you know.
But what was it? I mean, was it a way that Arthur Cox told you to play? What made you score a goal, or was it something like it just happened for those 3 seasons?
I think it just happened. I think we were real. You know, when I was at Derby, it was a real naive, not so much naive. We were all young, enthusiastic, all want to score goals, all want to get forward. So as much as we used to score goals, we used to concede goals as well, like, you know.
Right.
So I think if we'd put that team together, maybe 3 or 4 years later, after we've all, you know, I think Tommy Johnson went to Aston Villa. I think Paul Kitson moved to Newcastle and West Ham. Yeah. You got Craig Short moved on to Everton. You know, myself, I moved off to Sheffield Wednesday. You know, and there was a lot of players. I think Gary Charles moved to Aston Villa. You know, there was a lot of youngsters in the team at the time that you know, if we'd have stayed there, I thought we might have done something there, like, you know.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, go on, Andrew.
So we'll move on to who's your manager. Who's the manager who'll lead this team?
Oh,
who's the best manager you ever worked under?
It doesn't necessarily.
I tell you what.
Go on. I'm going to say it doesn't have to be a manager.
Managers I've worked under, Marvin. I've worked under some really good managers for all different reasons, you know. You know, when I was at Derby, Arthur Cox was a really good, straight down the line, good motivator. You know, you knew exactly where you stood with him, and you know, it was either right or wrong, like, and you know, he was right on it all the time, like, you know. I think he ended up he had a slipped disc, and that was for a long time, like, you know. And I think he was ill at the time of the back end of time I was at Derby, like, you know.
Yep.
And obviously when I was at Derby, obviously David Pleat took me from Derby to Sheffield Wednesday, and then Ron Atkinson came in there after him as well, who was a big character as well, you know. He was a good motivator. You know, he'd say to you, like, if he wasn't, you know, to the boys that wasn't playing, yeah, you boys knocking, yeah, you know who you are, you're knocking on my door, yeah, you got your chance today, you know who you are, yeah, don't come knocking on my door Monday, yeah, you got your chance, yeah, show me, you know. And he was very much like that, like, you know. And then obviously when I went to Portugal, then I had Graeme Souness for a while, you know, who was not so much old school, but he was like the Liverpool way, like just all small-sided games or bigger games and just get it and play, like, you know. Obviously when I was at Luton, when we played on the plastic pitch, Marv, at Luton, when I first got in and Liverpool booked it to train on a Friday afternoon there, I used to stay behind them. And sit in the stand, like, in the corner and watch them train on a Friday afternoon, and they just play 5-a-side, like, and they'd be pop, you know, all over the place, like, you know what I mean? And you think to yourself, like, that's what it was like in Benfica as well, the training over there, like, you know. And obviously then, Walter Smith and David Moyes at Everton, like, you know. Yeah. Two, you know, David Moyes just coming from Preston, just making his way up the ladder, whereas Walter Smith was established Premier League manager, not Premier League manager, but established manager, obviously, in Scotland, and won loads of titles up there, you know. And it was funny, Marv, because I'd cross the ball in on a Saturday afternoon, for Marcus to score. And then 2 or 3 hours later, I'd walk through the hotel down to the Welsh squad, and he'd be shaking my hand as the manager, welcoming you as the manager. Sat down with all his staff and all that, and he's the manager. So it's funny, like, you know. So teammate, and then like 3 hours later, he's my manager playing for Wales. Crazy, like.
Unreal. But like,
Yeah.
which manager are you going to choose? You'll go with this one name.
Oh, there's only one, Marv. There's only one. It was David Pleat, wasn't it?
David Pleat, yeah. David Pleat, it had to be.
Marv, you know him as well as I do, or better than me. You know, a manager that knew everything about the game, knew every single player. You knew when that team sheet come in. You know, when you go to the referee and they bring their team sheet, then you look at their team sheet, they've got 2 or 3 changes, and he'll go, yeah, he plays right back. He's not quick. He's tall. He's not very good on the ball. He knew everything about everybody, Marv.
But and that's the. I'm glad you said that, Ben, because I mean, I've said before that David Pleat just focused on us. It was a case like this is what we can do: keep the ball moving, right? Play quickly, play sharply, right? And you'll have a chance. And you've just turned around. If he did mention, I mean, because he didn't mention it a lot when I was playing the opposition. It was always something negative.
Yeah.
Like, he's no good enough. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't be
that's
like
what he'd say, that's what he'd say. That's what he'd say. And it's funny because like he used to come in to me like when I was playing, and he'd say like, oh, you know, I was at digs, I was this and all that, like, you know, and I go, he'd say, oh, I went to a game yesterday. And he went, actually, he said, I went to 3 games yesterday. He'd be like, so I think to myself, how can he go to 3 games? And I think I remember asking him, Marv, and he went, yeah, he said, I went from training, he said, I went down to Stamford Bridge to watch Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea reserves kicking off at 2 o'clock. And then he said, I watched an hour of that, he said, and I went straight from there to Loftus Road because QPR reserves were kicking off at 3 o'clock. Yeah, so we watched the last 60 minutes of that. Yeah. And then he said, on the way home up the M1, he said, I dropped into Watford because their reserves were kicking off at 7 o'clock and watched that.
Unreal.
But that's the type of guy he was. That's what he was, Marv. He just knew everything about football. He knew everything about. Or when I was at Sheffield Wednesday, he'd go like, you see the South American football on last night and things like that. He just like, he just eat, sleep and breathe football.
Lived and breathe, yeah, you're right. Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Sorry, yeah. And I remember I was doing the 18s at Fulham going back about 5 or 6 years ago. And he was down there at Tottenham. He was playing Tottenham away. He was down there watching the under-18s. Tottenham under-18s. And he come over, he did, and started talking. He come over, he seemed just walking across the place, shook his eyes, how are you, and all that. He said, and he started talking to the players, to the under-18s, like, you know, for about a couple of minutes. And I think the boys knew who he was, like, you know what I mean? I'd explained to him when he left, it was like who he was and all that. Like, he was ex-Tottenham manager, Luton manager, and, you know, and he was trying to give the boys advice and things like that, which is brilliant, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's still heavily involved in Spurs.
You see him all the time. You see him all the time, Marv. I went, not last season, the season before, down to Loftus Road to watch Yatters. I think they lost like 3. They were 3-0 down at half time, I think it was, and he was there watching. You know what I mean? He's always at games, like, you know, everywhere you go, he's
always at games.
Yeah, seen him at Fulham loads of times. Unbelievable. And this you mentioned Fulham there, that moves us on lastly to our last little bit about what you're doing at the moment. I know, and I'm sure a few of our listeners would know, but just talk a little bit about what your role is at the moment at Fulham and how you're enjoying it, and like the development of players and stuff like that. Yeah, I was lucky enough, Marv, to get an opportunity, I think, coming through when I finished at Fulham. Obviously, do my coaching badges. You know, coming at the end of my career at Fulham, I ended up having 4 operations. 1 of my Achilles, 3 of my calves. You know, in the last 2 years. So game time was limited. So within them 2 years, I done my coaching badges, done my B&A license within them 2 years, you know, just to keep a focus on everything, you know, so I'm not like twiddling my thumbs, you know. And then when I finished, then it was like I was lucky enough, there was a full-time opportunity come up with the under-15s, and I started doing that. So I obviously built myself up, and then went up to the first team with Kit Simons, and then obviously when he left, I dropped back down to the 23s for a season. Went to do the 18s, and now I've been doing the 23s for the last 3 or 4 years, I think. But obviously, since I played when I finished at 36, I've been at Fulham since then, like, you know. So I think it's my 15th season as a coach at Fulham, doing the 23s. Really enjoy it. Love to see the kids coming through. Love to see the kids get an opportunity in the first team, you know. And if they can't get an opportunity in our first team, you know, it needs to be make sure that they get a pathway to somebody else's first team.
What I mean, when you say 23s, Pem, how many of those players are like 21, 22, or are they like 19?
There's not many, Marv. I think
I was going to say,
you know,
yeah.
I think we regard it, Marv, if you're still in our team at the end of a third year pro, then the likelihood is you're not really going to get a chance at playing in our first team, you know.
Right.
You know, so a lot of our players are first, second year pros. If they get injured, then we push the best 18s up to play and try and stretch them, like, you know.
Would you say it's more harder now? I mean, again, what age was you? Did you get into Luton? I mean, I know you was young. Do you think it's harder now for the players to break into the first teams?
I think it is, Marv. Yeah, I think it is because managers get changed. You know, lifespan for managers probably about 18 months, isn't it, on average? You know, I don't think unless you've been told by the owners or something like that, then I don't think they're gonna gamble on the youth. They probably want more experienced players than gambling with youth players, you know, and giving people opportunities, you know. You know, was obviously, especially the lower leagues, you know, you try and get them out on loan for them to get a profile, and they come back. If they've done well, then you might, you know, get away pre-season with the first team, and, you know, go and impress and see if you can push your way in there, you know. Probably that's probably one of the safest ways of getting an opportunity in the first team now, you know. Especially with international games. A lot of international games are in June now as well, you know. So by the time they finish, them international players might come back a couple of weeks later than everybody else. So then probably to make their squad up to a training group, they'll probably take from the 23s, and you gotta say to the boys, listen, you know, it's an opportunity for you. You know, go and show him. If you don't want to, I said, I don't really want to see you again. I'm not being horrible, I said, but I don't want to see you again. And you probably should be saying the same thing. I don't want to see you again because you don't want to be coming back to the 23s. You know?
No, you're right. You're right.
It's funny. I was telling my mate who does it with me, Colin, does the 23s with me. I said, oh, Luton signed a player on deadline day, I said, from Warsaw, Elijah Adebayo. Elijah was been in our system. I coached Elijah from he come into me at under 15s and probably right the way through. Obviously, when I moved up the levels as well, he's moved up and he ended up with the 23s. And again, he's had that second season or second or third season as a 23s player. Obviously, we released him, and it's fantastic how he's got to Warsaw, scored enough goals, and he's had to go drop down a couple of leagues to come back up, you know, which is fantastic and great to see them boys doing that.
And did you feel that would be the case, Pem? I mean, generalizing, looking at him, even though you released him, was it a case where you thought, well, you know, he's not that he's going to come back and be like a 25 million player, but he'll have a career. You know, when you have players and you say, you know what, he'll have a career. He's going to have a career.
Of course he will. But then some surprise you as well, Marv, you know, because, you know, it's like you have to be given an opportunity as well, you know, and you know, my time at Luton, Marv, you know, I got my opportunity because my best mate got injured, who I was in digs with Kerry, who's done his knee ligaments, and then I stepped into the team. You know what I mean? So as much as football is a nice game to play, you know, there's a not a nasty side, but you know, that side of I got my opportunity through somebody else's downfall. Then you know what I mean?
There's a certain amount of luck.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, a little bit. You have to be the right time, right place. But
it's correct. But I've mentioned this before because I wasn't sure if it was on Daish's when we were talking about the same thing or whoever it was. But you got the opportunity, but Pem, you took it. So obviously you were ready. That's the biggest thing. What I'm saying is that sometimes kids will get an opportunity, but they're not ready, Pem. They're not ready. But you was ready.
This is why I say to the boys, you know, some boys have gone up and trained with the first team and come back down, and then they're disappointed, and you know, and then you have to manage them then, Marv, when they've come back down and say, look, right, let's like cut it down. I said, like, you're not there. You need to start playing well here, because they can call you at any time to go back in, and you'll be more disappointed if you go in there and think, I've not trained well for the last couple of weeks, or I'm not 100% fit and things like that, and then you don't give yourself a chance. You know what I mean? So you have to keep on these boys all the time, like, you know,
because they'll just call somebody different in next time.
Yeah, exactly, and you might only get one chance to go and train with them, you know, and unfortunately in that higher end of the first team, you know, people form opinions really quickly.
Yeah, the players will be in the manager's ear saying he ain't any good. Yeah.
But it's, you know, but the players know when you send somebody up there and they're good, and you know, you can see what they're like. You know what I mean? You know, the players that has come through our system, like, you know what I mean, at Fulham, you can see when they've gone up, like, they've been really good players, like, you know. People like
Sessignon and stuff.
Yeah, Ryan's done well. Obviously, he's gone out on loan now, but Ryan's still a young kid, like, you know what I mean? He's still learning his trade, you know. We'll probably see the best of Ryan now starting in the next couple of years, you know. You've got Moussa Dembele just gone to Atletico Madrid, who's in our system as well, you know, from 16 up until he left to go to Celtic. You know, them type of players are like them type of players.
How old is he? How old is Dembele?
Dembele must be 23, 24, Marv.
It's like I mean, when he went up to Celtic, and I think he had.
No, he's a bit old. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but even so, he was at Celtic, and I remember seeing, and I'm thinking, he's good. The pace, and just he's going to be like, he was going to come on the scene, in my opinion, and be like, go again, like for big money. And I'm talking the Real Madrids and all that. So I'm thinking he is a great prospect, but it's just not seeming to happen for him.
He's quick. He's a good size, good in the air, you know, powerful boy, like, you know, and knows exactly where he's going, knows exactly his focus. Very confident young man as well in his ability and what he's good at, which is good to see, Marv, you know.
Well, that's it then. Well done. Pem,
fabulous. Listen. Yes, I just want to say thank you very much to Mark Pembridge for taking his time. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Mark Pembridge's My Best 11. Thank you, Mark.